Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Feeling Lighter podcast. I'm Dr. Lisa. I know you're not used to hearing my voice first, but today is a very, very, very special episode. Today we are celebrating the birthday of the one and only, the founder of WeShape. There we go. Yes. My goal today is to get him to laugh and cry. One is done. Happy birthday, Tyler. Welcome to the show. Yay. How old are you today? Or now?
40 years old.
40 years old.
Yeah, 40 years around the earth.
Around the earth. Are you 40 years wiser? We're going to find out, but
We'll
are you?
find out, yeah.
Do you feel wiser?
Sometimes I think the older I get, the more I realize the less that I know.
Oh, I have to agree with that. I'm 44, y'all. I just turned 44 a couple weeks ago. Me and Tyler are both Scorpios, if you didn't know. So now does that change how you feel about this podcast?
Delete. Unfollow.
Oh, gosh. All right. Today we're going to be talking about lessons, what you've learned in these 40 years, some of the most powerful things you've learned. And I'll share a little bit about what I've learned. I think we both have similar stories in starting our lives out one way and making some huge shifts along the way. So I think our listeners will appreciate that. So, yeah, you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All
I'm
here
here for you. You tell me what you want to know.
We are
and I'll
going
tell
to
you what it is.
cry.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want to know your deepest, darkest fears. Not joking.
Well, I'm not afraid to cry.
Good.
I just let it all out when it comes in.
Awesome. Well, why don't you start? Share with me, maybe let's start with this last year, right?
Yeah.
Most fresh in your head. Can you think of one thing, one lesson, one tool, even something that you picked up over this last year that's made a huge impact on how you're moving forward into this new decade, this 40s?
I'll share something that came up for me this year, but it was a seed that was planted almost 4 years before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's one of these things where when the new year hits and we start setting those intentions or the things that we want to learn and cultivate, got to be careful what we ask for, right? So this is like 2022, right? January of 2022. We're launching WeShape. We had just spent a bunch of time building out this product and pivoting into this desire to do a completely different business. And I'm like, what do I want to learn this year? I want to learn patience. I learned not to ask for that, but go ahead. Finish sharing. Don't ask for patience. That is a tough one. And I'm going to be honest with everybody. WeShape is slowly getting more and more successful. It's slowly getting bigger and bigger. But prior to that, I was so used to almost everything I was doing, just like boom, home run, boom, home run. And, fully admittedly, a lot of that stuff was rooted in the stuff that we now kind of fight against, frankly.
Right.
It was like, get flat abs with this awesome routine and do the keto diet with our amazing cookbook and like all these different things. And, that's how I know so clearly that it's so much easier to do that stuff.
Yeah.
But we would scale those things up real fast. Our company was one of the 500 fastest growing privately held companies in 2000. I think it was 16, 17, and 18 in a row. And then come 2019, we were like, what are we going to do? This is like, we're quote unquote successful, but we don't feel settled. We don't feel like we're offering what we really can offer to the world. And so, that was the crux by which we switched from that old model to what we wanted to do with WeShape. But I asked for patience that year. And at the same time, I set out to scale WeShape as fast as humanly possible. I was going to get investors. I was going to build this business lightning fast, and it was going to grow super great. It was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread in the fitness industry. You know what I mean?
And that's what you call counterproductive goals.
Oh, my God. Yeah, we work against ourselves. That's definitely a lesson over time.
Yeah.
But in any case, I started raising some money. We started running WeShape, and slower than I thought on the growth side of things. Tried a lot of different stuff. We were trying to find our voice. We were trying to find our message and how to get people not just interested in what we do, but actually wanting to sign up and be a part of what we were doing.
Yeah.
And the investors was probably one of the hardest parts because I went to these investors and was like, we're building something that can act like someone's personal trainer, and we're laying on top of it positive psychology to help someone learn how to be more consistent. And the number one thing I heard at the end of that was, what makes you different than Peloton? And I was like, did you not just hear me?
Smell
I
of
was
time.
like, everything, right? And then sometimes people would give me more time. Like maybe they give me like an hour instead of like 7 minutes to pitch them on it. And I think I could get people a little closer to that. But
Right.
one of the hardest things that I've had to realize about WeShape is we're talking about something that most people don't even understand. When I say movement instead of traditional fitness or exercise, I got to spend time educating someone on what that means.
Yeah, there's a learning curve.
Yeah, and their traditional sense of what fitness is pumping muscles and burning calories and losing body fat and gaining muscle and like, all that stuff that we don't talk about here, right? And ours is like, hey, here's how you move your body better so you feel better in your body. So that message was hard to get across. And to be totally frank, I pitched probably, I don't even know, hundreds of people over the course of about a year. And we did raise some capital. Luckily, me and my wife, who are the co-founders of this business, had a lot of success from those previous businesses. So we put a lot of our own capital into this to keep it going and growing. But after a while, I was just sick of the conversations.
Yeah.
I was so sick of those conversations. I was like, I don't want to just have the same conversation over and over again where you don't see what it is that we're trying to do.
And it's hard to convince people that aren't ready.
Oh, my God.
Like they're not ready for
Try to
it.
convince anybody who's not ready of something,
just,
right? It's a waste of time. So, in a lot of ways, I realized I'm barking up the wrong tree. So we closed that capital raise and just continued leaning in. And if I were to say that it was easy from there, it would be a massive lie. It's been nothing but challenging. Some other businesses that I've been involved in have had struggles over the last few years. Our own personal finances have had struggles over the last few years. I've had to lay off team members, over the last few years. But one thing that I always know in my life is that there's always a message that tells me if I'm on the right path or not.
Right.
And before launching WeShape, people would come in and maybe they'd get some results. Maybe they'd have a good experience. The best case scenario, I lost a bunch of weight and this is great, right? But for the most part, people would be like, oh, like, can I get a refund? Or like, oh, like, this is the, the end of the road for this product. What else should I be doing? Like, people, there's a flash in the pan kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
People use it for a little while and then they leave. And that's what happens with most fitness products. You use it for a little while and then you leave. And with WeShape, as we started getting more people into it, we started doing these things called feel-good challenges, where we were really focusing on the pillars that make up WeShape, not just movement, but intentions, community, beliefs. As we added levels to the challenge, the dialogues that I watched our members having changed. And I'll never forget one that happened to me not so long ago. She was sharing her story in one of our live calls, and she said, this has made such a huge impact on my life. I'll be here till I die. And like, yeah, that get me crying already. I was like, oh my God, like we are actually making a meaningful impact on people's lives.
Yeah, we are.
And that happened over and over again throughout that process. Sometimes in little ways, sometimes in big ways. And so even when we were met with hardships, like, oh, I gotta sell this, piece of my retirement fund to keep this business moving forward.
Yeah.
I just knew I was on the right path. And so I kept going. And like I said, now we're finally getting to a place where WeShape is starting to grow a little bit faster, and we're starting to see a lot more traction. And I think a lot of this has to do with patience and recognizing that, this challenge, we have 5 levels of our challenge, Dr. Lisa, 5 levels.
I know.
and if somebody goes consecutive challenges, we're talking about like 7 to 9 months of work. And when you come out of that level 5, people sound like they went to like 2 years of therapy. They're taking care of themselves. They set boundaries. They communicate better. They're more connected to themselves. They've processed emotions and traumas. And like, we're not even like going super deep on those things. We're just introducing tools and concepts, and they're taking those things and running with them. And it turns out that those people, the ones who are making it through those challenges, like those are the people who understand what we're trying to do.
Yep.
And a little while back, we hosted our first live event, the WeShape Wellness Weekend. We brought 15 of these people out here. And during that, it was the most natural experience, I think, for everyone there and the coaches. And it just flowed. And I was like, we are on the right path.
Yeah.
We are on the right path. And that path, frankly, I'm just be honest with everybody, it's using movement as a Trojan horse to create a movement to get people to like themselves more, care for themselves more, and feel better in their bodies and about their bodies, right? And so this year, I feel the patience paying off.
Yeah.
It's like I planted all those seeds I watered the harvest even when it was hard.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I tilled it. I took care of it even when it was hard. And like one of our members who was at the WeShape Wellness Weekend, now the fruits are popping up. And I'm like, ooh, let me take a taste of that.
Let's take a taste of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That's a big lesson
That's
for sure.
such a great lesson. I'm glad you picked that lesson because obviously I got to see a good
Yeah.
portion of that. I think I joined WeShape was it the end of 2022 or the start of 2023?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah,
That
so
was
I
in
didn't
the middle of that,
realize
yeah.
how early on it was, but it's been beautiful to watch, beautiful to see. And I knew right away. I understand. Like I said, I don't ask for patience anymore. I stopped maybe about 8 years ago.
I'm serious. Got to be careful with what you ask for.
Do not ask for patience. Because you are just going to be presented
With
with
things that require
opportunities
patience.
to be patient. That is all. That is how patience works. You don't just get it implanted into your soul one day and you're good.
And I got to be honest with everybody. That wasn't just WeShape. Like this startup and the pressures that it put on my family created pressures in my relationship. It was hard. I mean, I almost called it quits with my partner a couple times. But again, those signals kept coming up. Be patient. Be patient. My daughter, she was going through health challenges. She had Lyme's disease, right? And she had insomnia and Lyme's disease and, you know, just tons of stuff that was really challenging. Yeah, life can get really hard sometimes. And like when I asked for patience, it was like every aspect of my life, right? I got a surgery that I thought was going to help me better with my knee, and then I popped that ACL a year later and was like, what is the point of all this? You know? So yeah, it was just patience, 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 patience. Yeah.
But it sounds like patience paid off. So
Well, it's getting there for sure. Yeah, it's trending
it's
that way.
paying off. It's paying off. You're seeing the fruits of your labor, and they're starting to be a benefit. And I think what has never changed, at least from my perspective, is the members have been consistently praising this organization, this app, the things that they get to do, and the way they get to interact with the coaches, with each other.
It's just a fitness app, right? But if you go behind
so
it
much more than
and you
that.
zoom into what's actually happening, like the people who are really putting these things into practice, not just the movement, but like the mindset, right? I mean, it's changing people's lives in such a meaningful way. And I knew that's what we wanted to do. I really wanted to show up and teach people how to move better and feel better. I think that's really important, and I think it's a great way to connect with your body, and it's the way to crack the door open to how do I release all that tension that came from all the stress that came from traumas and self-imposed pressures and all these things. Because to me, like one of the things that we talked about at the WeShape Wellness Weekend was love is like a natural state, right? Like my self-love, I don't need to find it. It's already there.
It's there.
I need to remove. I need to remove what's preventing me from getting there.
Yeah.
The sadness, the grief, the anger, the suffering, the trauma, the whatever it may be. And so it's like, how do we just get you back to your natural state of being, right? Of just being present with yourself and liking yourself.
And liking yourself.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. I love that process of going through movement. We're not therapists, right? So we can't necessarily help people dig through the traumas. It comes up when we're talking about the body. But I think the body is such a great window into people's lives, their souls, and the things that they're going through.
Yeah.
And it's just a great way, just the simple step of embodiment, trying to get people to understand what they're feeling when they're feeling it and get in touch with that and make decisions around that. That's like prioritizing yourself and caring about yourself. And, you know, I was at the WeShape Wellness Weekend. It was amazing. And so many people see the benefit in understanding what they need and then taking it a step further and giving that thing to themselves.
Yeah.
But they needed permission. Like, it's so wild.
Yeah.
We're adults, but we need permission to like stop, pause, and figure out what we need.
Well,
And
let me
that's
just
something
build
we
on
get.
that with another lesson because I feel like it's just coming up and I want to
Go
echo
for
this,
it.
right? So prior to starting WeShape and even into those first couple of years, I would say that there was a good 10-year period of growth work for me, like really hard growth work. Most people who know me now think of me as like a really sensitive, emotional guy. Like I'll cry and speeches like all the time and just be who I am. And if you saw me even like about 12 years ago, I was just thinking about this, how me and my wife went to a couples therapist and she slid a piece of paper across the table that was laminated that had the emotions and the definitions next to it. I literally could not understand what an emotion felt like because I'd spent my whole life suppressing that.
Yeah.
And so the last 12 years, especially the 10 years from that moment on, was like learning how to get in touch with my feelings, learning how to communicate, learning that I have ADHD and building tools to show up differently in that. And then also learning that the driver within, that driver that was pushing me to become, successful and have the body and have the life and the car and the blah, 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 right? That wasn't from a place of really the heart. It was it was from the place of a broken heart.
Absolutely.
It was because I wanted to be seen.
Yeah.
I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be valued. And that brings me to the point I wanted to make, was that most of us don't have the experience of feeling deeply loved and valued just as we are. And one of the things that we really did at the WeShape Wellness Weekend, we try to do it online, but it's better in person, is that if you've never experienced the feeling inside of your body of what it feels like to be deeply loved and held through whatever, like just you are perfect as you are right now. If you don't know that feeling, then when all the stuff in life is happening around you, you can't create that feeling.
No.
And there was a point, maybe about 5 years ago, where I remember I was like really struggling, and I was like, I had gotten the money, it didn't make me happy. I got in the car, didn't make me happy. I got the abs, didn't make me happy. I got the wife, didn't make me happy. Got the family, didn't make me happy. Got the business, didn't make me happy. Like, I tried it all. I even played music, tried to get the fame, did the drugs. Like, I did a lot of stuff to try and make me feel happy, and none of it worked. And I was like scrambling for it. Like, what is it? I feel this hole inside me that I'm trying to fill all the time. And the moment I realized that the problem is I don't know how to feel whole. I don't know how to feel whole. And there was one night where my partner said, I'm sorry that you had all these things happening to you. And I love you just as you are. And I could really feel it in that moment. And it was the first time that I can remember not feeling a whole, but feeling whole.
Yeah.
And when I say feeling whole, it's just this deep sense of like, I am loved, I am worthy, just as I am. I'm enough. I am enough just as I am. I don't have to do anything. And the point of this is that we heal in relation to another.
Yeah.
And if you think that if that resonates with you, you have that hole inside, and you think that you're going to be able to create the feeling of wholeness by yourself, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
It takes others, and sometimes not the people you think. Maybe it's strangers who can just show up for you in a beautiful way to say, you're doing great. You are enough. For you to feel that. And then what's beautiful is once we have the feeling, we can start cultivating it from within.
Yep.
And so now when life gets challenging for me, I don't need something outside of myself to feel whole, to feel at peace. I just need a little bit of space and the time to sit there and go, let me cultivate that feeling from within. So if you're listening to this and you find yourself scrambling to always get this and that, and if this, then I'll be happy, and once this happens, then I'll, you have to cultivate it from within. And that's probably the most important lesson that I've ever learned in my life, and the most important lesson that I try to teach others through WeShape is like, if we can learn to love and feel enough inside of ourselves, and with the help of others, right? That's really important. Then we can recreate that feeling inside of ourselves. If we can recreate that feeling inside of ourselves, we can offer it to others.
Other people, absolutely.
And then those people will create it.
It's
right?
contagious. It's a domino effect.
It's a domino effect. I got a couple kids. I got a couple girls, and I want them to grow up in a world that's different than the one that we live in today.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be told that their worth lies in their looks or in the number on a scale or in what they achieve or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I want them to feel whole just as they are, and then be able to offer that to others in whatever way their gifts want to express themselves.
That's beautiful. Ooh, that's kind of a mic drop. We could almost end here, but but it's so important. I would like to share a lesson I've learned in my 44 years of life. I'm calling this my Obama year because he was the 44th president. It's my Obama year. And for me, one of the biggest things that happened this last year is I became legally divorced. And in no alternate universe would I have ever believed that that will be something that I will be celebrating right now. because I just very much valued marriage and family. And the idea and thought of being a single mother was like atrocious to me
Scary. Yeah.
and very scary. And something that I was judgy about, if I'm being very honest. I was raised by a single mom and I loved her and I know she tried, but it was hard and it was very chaotic and it was very scary many days. And she had so many struggles, but she was a child when she had me. And I just remember sort of looking at her life thinking, okay, we're going to do the opposite of this. Everything is going to be the opposite. And I did. I talked about this back when we did the WeShape Wellness Weekend, but I worked really, really hard to create a life that looked nothing like, my upbringing, because I sort of despised it, which is a little eye-opening to say out loud. But I despise that upbringing, even though I understand that that upbringing made me who I am. It was not something that I was proud of or something that I leaned into. And so to come full circle and end up in a position where I am now the single mom that I thought was one of the worst things you could be, it's been a very trippy experience because even though I've gone through many things, my mom and I, we ended up having a beautiful relationship until she passed in 2019. And I forgave her and I understood she did everything that she could with what she had. So I totally understood her. But having this experience now of being in a position where I am my children's everything, I have so much compassion for her because she had six of us.
Yeah.
She had six of us, and I used to feel like I was a child raising children, and I was, but I couldn't imagine, in her position, being so young, not having an education, not having any financial resources, and having all these children that are her responsibility primarily. Like all the time, every day you wake up, they're right there. I get it. I get it now, Mom. So I have a lot of compassion for her, and I offer more forgiveness to her because I definitely was judgy about that. I didn't understand people's choices. We are responsible for our choices, but also oftentimes we are not responsible for what happens to us.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are just products of the environment in which we're in. We can't control other people. I didn't sign up for single motherhood, but it has somehow been a blessing in my life. I have a very secure relationship with my children. They have a very secure relationship with me. I'm learning from them every day. They're learning from me. We are close. We have a home that is curated with so much peace and so, you walk into the house and you can take a deep breath. And I'm so proud to say, like, as a single mom, this is what I've given my children. And then we have the space to talk. We talk about the divorce. We talk about the icky feelings.
Yeah, you're honest.
Very honest. They know more than many children know about the, circumstances of their parents' divorce. And it's not, I don't go beyond the boundaries or being inappropriate, but I don't want to lie to them. I don't want them to have this fake facade in their minds of what it is and what it was. I want them to know the truth, and I want them to be comfortable with that and open to hearing that, so that they understand, like, you can go about life one way, but that doesn't guarantee that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And you
Yeah.
can make the best of what you have, and it doesn't even have to be. I don't look at my life as worse now. I really don't, because honestly, in many ways, it's better. I have a level of peace and joy, and I have something to look forward to, and I'm being treated well because I'm treating myself well.
Yeah.
And I don't have someone lying next to me every day that's abusing me, So my life is much better. It really is. And so I'm grateful for that, and I'm thankful for that. And I guess the lesson in that is, people always say you make plans and God laughs. It's like I had a whole plan for my
I feel
life, and it came crashing down. And my crash literally started in 2022 when WeShape started.
Yeah.
And then I connected with you all within that year or the year after. And it's just been so interesting to watch things tear down, break apart, fall apart, and then see the foundation of something beautiful being built, beside it. So I'm grateful. It was worth it. All the turmoil and the craziness and the scary scary days, scary nights. But yeah, I'm officially not married after 17
I
years
know. I
of
know that
being
was a
married.
hard decision and a hard time for you.
It was so hard, but I feel really good. I
Yeah.
feel really, really good. So,
That's bringing up another thing that I'd love to share. It feels really valuable in this moment is, so much of our pain and suffering comes from these imagined expectations of what should exist, right?
yeah.
This is the way that so and so should act, or I want them to act, or this is the way that my life should go. And to me, one of the hardest things that I've had to work on was acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
And you really spoke to that when you said, I had this experience of being a single mom, and then I changed the way I felt about my mom. Because when we judge others, we're being really like kind of self-righteous. Like, I
Yes.
know what's supposed to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is that's not true for anybody towards anyone else.
No.
It's only true for you against yourself.
Yeah.
And even then, you're going to make a lot of mistakes.
Whole lot.
You're going to make a whole lot of mistakes. But to me, something that's worth striving towards is not running away from those moments where we feel like we're judgy or we're angry. Because as we start to go down the road of growth, we cultivate self-awareness.
Yep.
And self-awareness means opening doors that we don't want to open. It means remembering the way that we were treated when we were young, or the words and the messages and the beliefs that we inherited from those around us that we trusted, even if it wasn't healthy along the way.
Right.
And I remember I used to be really upset that my parents couldn't meet me emotionally the way I needed, especially when I really opened up my heart and learned about those feelings. Like, oh, I'm a really sensitive, like full spectrum guy, right? And I was like, they couldn't do it. And it was like I was angry for the longest time. And then it was during a meditation where I had this realization that if I am angry at them, that means I'm not accepting a part of myself.
Ooh. Yeah.
If I'm angry at someone else, if I'm righteous towards someone else, I'm not accepting a part of myself. And if I truly love myself, then what I should feel towards the people who cause me suffering is gratitude.
Yeah.
Because without that suffering, I would not be the man I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think as we go through a journey of growth, there's this erroneous expectation that everything's just going to be happy. And nothing further from the truth, it could be so far from the truth, right?
Yeah.
It's not about cultivating this endless joy. It's about being present with the human experience. It's about being compassionate for the people who showed up in certain ways towards you, because you realize hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
They didn't do that to hurt you because they were being malicious. They did that because someone else was malicious to them, and that's the only way they learned how to deal with it.
Yep.
And if we can cultivate that compassion and forgiveness towards the people who hurt us, then we actually forgive not for them, but for us.
Yep.
When we forgive others genuinely, like let it go out of your body, you look at them and it's no longer that experience, then we're free.
Yeah.
They can still dwell in it, right? But we're free
Yeah.
from that suffering.
No, I totally agree. I think that that forgiveness piece is tricky, right? It brings up a lot of thoughts. Obviously, I had the same experience with my mother and my father, understanding like where they were and when they were.
Yeah.
And also understanding that they loved me, even though
best as they could.
best as they could.
And that was the best.
And that was
That's
the
what
best.
they had.
And that's all they could give
Yeah.
me. And my goal and my aspirations with my children is to love them even deeper, even more fiercely, even
And you're
more
still going to
obviously.
fail.
And
they're still going to tell you didn't show up in this way and you didn't show up in that way.
I'm like, oh, one day they're going to be in therapy like my mother said or my
Yeah.
mother did. And
Or, oh, she made me share too much.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like it can go, the pendulum can swing all
It
over
can
the place.
always. And so I understand that, and I can appreciate that, and I can look at the scenarios with my parents and see a lot of gratitude. I can even go as far as to say with my ex-husband, I can look and find some gratitude in the scenario, because there was a part of me that needed that marriage, that needed to grow, that needed to learn more about myself. Some of the things that happened in that marriage spurred me to more self-discovery and more self-compassion and more self-love, and eventually the courage to walk away.
Yeah.
And I have gotten to a place of forgiveness within myself for all of the things that took place in that space. But I don't look at him with any gratitude. I'm just going to be very honest.
Do you love yourself?
I love myself so much. But to be very clear, I won't give him a lot of credit for the person that I am today. I will give the circumstances of our marriage, but I won't directly give it to him because
he was the friction that polished your pearl.
Shut up.
I'm serious.
The friction that
I'm serious.
That's a good
Without
one.
him, you wouldn't have had those lessons. Without him, you wouldn't be the Dr. Lisa I know today.
Very true. Very true.
You might still be in some relationship with a decent man, stuck in religious underpinnings that you didn't really believe in. And if it hadn't gotten worse, that might have been your life.
Very true. Very true. And so I guess I see that on the larger scale.
Which life do you want?
Shut up, Tyler. I see that on the larger scale. But, and this is a part of like my boundary, I think, with him. My forgiveness of him does not come with any reconnection, rekindling, no niceties, as a matter of fact. And a part of that, too, I wanted to have a very amicable split where we could. But the reality is I held my friends, people be like, oh, you're friends with your ex. I held my friends to higher like standards than I did my husband. Yeah. So the reality is we don't have the foundation for friendship because of the maltreatment that took place. And I want to be clear,
forgiving someone else does not mean you have to go back
engage with them.
Exactly. And be friends with them.
Exactly.
And anything. Remember, forgiveness is for you.
It is for me.
It's for you.
And I own that and accept that, but I don't see at this space. I am newly divorced, y'all, so maybe next year I'll feel very different. Maybe when we do life lessons next year,
yeah,
things will change. But I'm just going to be very honest and raw in this emotion, that it's not because of this is a person I still have to engage with. Let's just put it that way, because we have children together, and because behaviors are repeated. And now I'm okay. I got away.
Yeah.
But I have 3 children who are impacted by the things that he does.
Yeah.
So the assaults on me are like, whatever, like I'm good. Forgiveness is there. But it is very hard to engage and interact with a person who is now hurting little people that you love.
What do you teach those little people? Do you teach them that he's a horrible human being, or you say he was a wounded human being?
No. They're getting older. They've gotten to see some family dynamics on that side that have made them say,
Yeah, the truth gets revealed, doesn't it?
And they start asking questions like, why did they and why aren't they? And I just talk to them very honestly. What I do say about him when that conversation, comes up or is appropriate in the setting, I let them know that he was raised to think a certain way and be a certain way. And that is something that I think he's still working through. I can't give explanation for why he does what he does because I don't fully know.
You don't know.
And it's really not my job to figure it out. But I arm my children with the capacity to communicate about it, to say how they really feel. I open the space. However you feel is okay. We keep the feelings wheel like on the corkboard in the kitchen. And we pull it down. And it's like, he did this. How did that make you feel? And they search for the word and they say it. And I hold them, and I hold that space for them to have these conversations.
Yeah.
And I let them have a little autonomy around the ways in which and the times in which they interact with him, because they're getting older. And the last thing I want to do is just force him down their throat, like go over there and spend time. So I monitor it, and I listen to them, and I hold space for them. And I let them know that this is just who he is at this current state, and we can't change it. Only thing we can manage is how we respond to it. On the inside, I want to go fight, but I don't let that out because my children, this is their father forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's space and room for people to grow and change and develop, and for relationships to play out in different ways. And my hope is that maybe one day it will be better for them. But, I'm a Dr. Ramani fan, and she told me hope is a 4-letter word when we're dealing with certain types of people.
Yeah.
So I don't lean too far into that is what I'll say.
Well, that's okay. He can keep being the sandpaper that polishes your pearl. and your kids.
He's not polishing anything on me anymore.
I beg to differ, but that's okay. We can go there another day.
A whole nother day. But I say all that to say this has been a trying process, a learning process. I am still very much in the thick of it, but I feel so much better, and I'm glad about where I am and where this journey has taken me. So
yeah, that authenticity. I love that. That's what I see in you, is someone who said, here's the way that I really want my life to be. Here's all the things I got to blow up to get there. And that fear takes a lot of courage to get through.
Yeah.
And you should be really proud of yourself for doing
Tyler.
that. You should be really proud of yourself.
Thank you. I am very proud of myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got to say one more thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, you should have another lesson at least.
One more lesson is, is trying to create clarity in your life. You know, one of the things that I try to remind myself of every day is that when I was focused on getting, I was pretty miserable. Even though from the outside looking in, you would be like, oh my God, I would do anything to get there. And I think people don't realize that as much as they should. All these like influencers and social media personalities and, you know, people online that we look up to, a lot of them are wrestling with demons.
Yeah.
Even if they say they're happy. That's the other thing. I would say I was happy.
Yeah.
I was happy. And then I would drink 6 scotches at night because I couldn't go to sleep.
Yikes.
You know? And they don't see that side of it. They just see the fancy life and the body and the things that we all wish we had. And to me, I really hope that in the long run, by changing the way I show up, not only will it change my life and the life of the others that we serve through WeShape, but I hope it can inspire other people who understand that feeling, right? Let's get real. Entrepreneurs are a powerhouse in transformation, and yet most choose what's in it for me.
Yeah.
And what I really, really want to inspire people to do is say, how do I show up and serve others in the best way I can? Right? There's something really beautiful about that. And if we can make WeShape a success, both from a capitalistic angle and from the angle of really serving human beings, I think it'll inspire others to do the same and not think about what's the margins and how much money can we make and blah, 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 but really be like, how can I create the best experience to serve a human being?
I would like to just insert that we are already a success from that second standpoint, just so you know.
Thank you.
Because many lives have been changed.
Yeah.
It's a success if one life is changed.
Yeah, and you know
but
what?
Many.
I'm happy you said that because my experience used to be thinking of the many. I used to think about how do we grow this and get all these people and these are the goals and blah, blah, blah. And I want to say it was about 3 years ago, a lot of our social media content, I started thinking about like, let me just make one thing for one person.
For one person.
Like if one person watched this and they got something really useful from it, like what a win. What a beautiful win. And what a glorious time we live in. I know a lot of people are doom and gloom. I'm not like that. I'm like, what a glorious time we live in that I can pull out this device and take a video and post it out there and like 1 million people will watch it. That's insane.
That is.
Right? And I feel so grateful that we can have that kind of impact on people's lives. And I feel grateful that we can use that as the starting line for a greater journey of transformation for people who are willing to do it. I really do.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, you're doing it. We're doing it. I'm grateful to be a part of it. It's been a great year.
Yeah, it has been a great year.
Yeah.
And you know, I was thinking about whether I wanted to say this or not, but something that helps me with clarity is I wrote a mantra a few years ago, right when I was needing patience. And I repeat this to myself every day. And I'd love to just repeat it to the audience to close this out.
Okay.
All right. So here it goes. Make sure I don't mess this up. All right. It's every day I make the choice to live the life I live. This is my chance to inspire others, my chance to truly give. Because helping people become healthy, wealthy, and happy is my purpose. My path towards helping others fill their lives with joy. And I choose this path each and every day because if I am the author of my life, I better write a good story. So regardless of circumstance, I will choose to fall in love with my purpose in my life each and every day. For others, I'll be present, responsible, accepting of their truth, and curious because the practice is the way. For myself, I will be tenacious in my resolve to inquire within, be compassionate, and in every day strive towards equanimity, because there is no joy in gratifying self. So serving and inspiring others is who I must be. Therefore, leading from my heart and living in line with this purpose is the gift that I must give to each and every person I touch, because to help others is to love, and to love is to live.
Tyler.
You thought I was deep, you didn't know, huh?
Woo! Where were you not going to share that? Oh, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Well,
happy birthday.
thank you.
And thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the show.
Thank
That was
you
fun.
for sharing. And thank you for allowing me to be a part of this journey with you.
Oh, yeah. We love you.
Love you back. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah. Hope you got something good out of it.